This ATV seat is in pretty bad shape and we're going to reupholster it. First we'll use a small flat screwdriver to pry up the staples. Then grab some pliers to pull the staples completely out. The foam's not in great condition. It's missing some chunks of foam and there are cracks like fish scales. We're going to use 3M spray adhesive to seal the cracks. This is number 90 spray adhesive, but I don't think it's very important which number you use. We'll spray the adhesive inside the cracks and give it about 5 minutes to dry. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to squeeze and press the cracks closed. The adhesive should keep them closed. The hard part are the areas where chunks of foam are missing. In the past, I've used the blade to carve out square or rectangular blocks. Then I'd use foam of similar hardness or density and cut matching blocks and glue them on. This is a floor mat I found on sale at Home Depot for $6. It happens to be the perfect density for ATV seats. But this time around, I'm going to try something new. I'll be using expanding foam. My daughter and I were messing around with this stuff when we were trying to find resins to make squishies. It didn't work out too well for squishies, but I noticed it seemed to be about the same density as an ATV seat. We bought the resins on Amazon. It's called Flex Foam at 3. I think they also sell Flex Foam at 4, 5, and 6. The higher number you go, the higher the density or the harder the foam. The kit comes with 1 bottle of Part A and 2 bottles of Part B. This is because you mix 1 part of Part A with 2 parts of Part B. This quantity is way more than I'll ever need, but it's the smallest kit they sell. Make sure you shake them really well before you use them. I'm going to be using this measuring cup to get my ratios and a paintbrush to apply the resin to the seat. It's not going to take much to fill these holes. The Flex Foam at 3 expands to 15 times its original volume. If you decide to use a higher density like the Flex Foam at 4, 5, or 6 or higher, the higher you go, the less the expansion. I'll start by adding the 2 parts of Part B. It's not important which part you put in the measuring cup first, as long as you get the ratios correct. And it's not super critical you get the ratios absolutely correct. It's not like you need a scale or anything. Just get as close as you can with the measuring cup. Now I'm going to add Part A. Once you start mixing, you're going to have very little time to work. It's going to start expanding in maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's starting to foam up already. Let's do this before it gets out of control. I'm going to start with the biggest hole. I think a brush is going to be a better tool for this. This way I can force the resin into the pores of the old foam for a better bond. I definitely mixed up way more than I should have. It's starting to expand faster than I can work. It's been a day since I applied the foam resin. It's supposed to be workable after 2 hours, but I found it was still too tacky and soft to cut. I'm using a utility knife to trim off the major high areas. Now I'm going to use an air sander to help smooth it out. This is coarse sandpaper. This is 60 grit. I also use a cheese grater to shape the foam. This is a cheese grater that's used in auto body work. It feels pretty smooth now, so I'm going to drape the vinyl over and see if I can feel any bumps. I'm using marine grade vinyl with a carbon fiber finish. It's about $37 on Amazon for a 5-foot by 5-foot piece. That's probably enough to do about 3 seats. I'm satisfied with the foam repair, so now I'll cut out a piece of vinyl that's workable. To attach the vinyl, I'll be using a hand stapler with 3/8 inch staples. You could probably use shorter staples like a 1/4 inch. I'll put one staple right here just to hold it in position. And then we'll start wrapping the sides of the seat. I'm going to stretch it pretty tight, but you don't have to use all your strength. I'm spacing the staples about 6 inches apart just to get the general shape, and then I'll go back and smooth out any wrinkles. As you can see, I'm working from side to side. You want to avoid stretching from front to back as much as possible, because when you stretch from front to back, it tends to pull the nose of the seat upward. So once everything's done and you install the seat, the nose pulls up away from the fuel tank. When smoothing out wrinkles, don't pull them sideways like this. The better way is to pull them in the same direction or parallel with the wrinkles. If you find wrinkles in an area you've already stapled, just remove the staples and re-stretch the vinyl. Now I'm going to work on the rear edge to finish off the bottom portion of the seat. Corners are actually pretty easy. You start off at the middle of the corner's radius. Then you stretch out and staple the wrinkles, again pulling in the same direction as the wrinkle. The transition where the seat curves upward can be tricky if you are using thick vinyl like this. Use a heat gun to stretch the sides. Stretch the vinyl while it cools to keep its position. The rest is the same as before, just start stretching and stapling. It helps to use a wood block as a support. It gives the staple a better chance of penetrating the plastic. Now I'm going to go back and hammer down any staples that aren't completely seated. And now we have a newly upholstered ATV seat.